and welcome. This is Vince of vinceprep.com, the second in a series discussing the takeaways from the campus visits for the AGAC 2014 annual conference. AGAC is the Association of International Graduate Admissions Consultants. I'm on the board. I was one of the people who helped with the conference this year. It was the best conference we've ever had for a bunch of reasons. It wasn't a new city for us. We've been to New York City before. One of our earlier conferences was in New York, but the difference this year, I think, was the level of dialogue that we were able to have with admissions officers, not only at our four host schools, the four host schools being Yale, NYU, Columbia, and Cornell, but also the other admissions officers who came to the event from schools like MIT was there, and Wharton was there, and others. Very, very good level of dialogue and a deep level of understanding. I want to talk in this video. I made a previous video about my takeaways from visiting Yale School of Management, the new campus, getting a better understanding of the new curriculum and some of the initiatives going on there at Yale. This video is actually sort of doing something I don't usually do, which is comparing two schools. It's natural to compare Columbia and NYU. They're both in New York City. So we were hosted by NYU, and also we were originally invited to New York as our site for our 2014 conference by Columbia Business School. So, first of all, I just want to express gratitude to both of these schools for hosting us. They both did an incredible job of giving us a forum and to facilitate dialogue among ourselves as admissions counselors, admissions consultants, and admissions professionals, and also directly with the schools. Both schools did an incredible job at that, and we are very, very grateful. So my comments now are not as AGAC, and they don't also represent my employer, Agos. These are like Vince's personal feelings about these two schools. The last thing I'll say in terms of disclosure is I'm a huge NYU fan. I'm an NYU alum, and I chose NYU when I got my education master's degree over Columbia. I had a full-time job offer. I was working full-time at Columbia as one of the founding technologists in something they call the Center for New Media, Teaching and Learning, very long name, which is still there, housed at Butler Library. We were teaching, in the year 2000, we were teaching the faculty of Columbia how to digitize their courses. This was way before MOOCs and online learning was really the thing. It was sort of on the frontier. And based on the work I had been doing as a teacher and someone who knew a bit about technology, I was one of the founding members of the center. So it was an incredible center, incredible job, good salary, free master's degree, and I walked away from all of it because I wanted to make stuff. I really wanted hands-on training. I was a classroom teacher. I wanted to learn how to make videos and make websites. NYU was a really expensive way to do that, looking back, but I walked away from a net positive salary, no debt, to take on a fair amount of student debt to get the degree I wanted at the school I wanted to attend, which was NYU, not Columbia. So I have this tendency to be more of a, quote, NYU guy, more interested in practical hands-on experience than theory. That's my general nature. So that's just a way of full disclosure. Let me dig in, though, because you're applying to MBA programs, and my personal history may be totally irrelevant to your choices. I'm saying at the end of the day, get into as many schools as you can and make the best choice that fits you and your situation. So talk about NYU first. The message there, the takeaway there for me was actually, this sounds boring, but was really, in a word, consistency. It was very comforting for me to see the same faces that I've been seeing at events in Tokyo or elsewhere, have the same contacts. The admissions office at NYU has not undergone major changes. The essay questions, the application process has not undergone any major changes. NYU Stern is still NYU Stern. And the things that they're looking for in applicants are the same things they've always been looking for. People who are both talented and skilled in their profession, and also open-minded and warm, and have this kind of open-minded, practical sensitivity and flexibility. One of the huge advantages of NYU has always been the Langone part-time program. You can take courses as a 2-year MBA applicant with practitioners who are attending MBA part-time, who are doing the job you might want to do, and you can confirm with them if it's in fact a good fit for you. Not to mention actual networking. So that's an advantage NYU has always had, and that's always been their marketing message. A couple of fun facts or useful stats that I learned from talking to admissions officers when they were presenting their program to us. It's a 70% pass rate after the interview. If you get invited to interview, they force you to fly to New York City, interview with admissions staff there on campus near Washington Square Park, in the Kaufman building, right there in Stern. So they don't invite that many people, and those who they invite, 70% of those who they invite get an offer to attend. So they set a high bar, and then it's not like a 50% cut like Harvard, for example. Also, I've noticed for the last 10 years that they do have a tendency to waitlist someone without interview, and that's a smart strategy for them to control yield, because they usually do lose to Columbia. Most people are not like me. They follow rankings or Ivy League pedigrees, or simply the age and size of Columbia program. It's older and it's bigger. For whatever reasons, most people don't do what I do and choose NYU over Columbia. So NYU needs to protect its yield by everyone the chance to interview, and often giving people, well, not often, occasionally waitlisting someone without having had the chance to interview. The point is, when they want to interview, it means they're quite serious and you're in that 70% cut rate. So the main thing is, and this is advice I heard from NYU admissions officers, and I think it's great advice, if you can get a visa and the plane ticket, go to New York City and visit both campuses on one day. Start downtown or start uptown, either way. Try to see Columbia Business School and Stern on the same day and really compare them side by side and get a sense of your cultural fit. Our theme for the conference this year was focus on fit, and that's exactly what I'm trying to emphasize in this video. The biggest surprise at Columbia is if NYU right now is about consistency as far as admissions, I would say that Columbia is about change. I don't mean that people who wouldn't have got into Columbia 2 years ago are going to get in now, or 3 years ago. But my point is that you have to understand, Columbia Business School had the same admissions director for at least 17 years or more, Linda Meehan, who set up the early decision round, who created the J term, right, the accelerated January start MBA program. So they had a very consistent regime for a long time in their admissions team. That's changed now. Amanda Carlson is young. She's really warm and friendly. She gives everybody hugs. She's really a sweet person. And their whole team, I think, is trying harder to, in a word, I hate to say it because it sounds like an insult or something, because these two schools are rivals, but I feel that Columbia is kind of trying to be NYU. They are, for the first time, emphasizing and requiring leadership skills. The most impressive person I met, because I already knew Amanda, the most impressive person that I met at Columbia Business School outside of the admissions team was Catherine Phillips, the professor who teaches their core course which is called LEAD, People, Teams, Organizations. She came from Kellogg. And before that, she did some teaching at Stanford. So she's this sort of warm and fuzzy, touchy-feely type leadership development person, incredibly bold, dynamic, charismatic. She is perhaps the face of the new Columbia. There's going to be a new building. I was kind of disappointed that we didn't get to see it, but I guess it's just a piece of land at this point. There's nothing to see. There's going to be a new campus. There has been a new curriculum implementation over the last few years. So I think Columbia is trying harder to change itself and to change its image of it being a quote-unquote finance school, to really stand out and really for the first time ever take a serious steps towards being a school that does care about soft skill development. It's historically known for things like value investment, right, from Graham and as executed by Buffett, right? That's what Columbia's famous for. And of course, they're not getting rid of any of that. They're simply trying to add to that, this other soft skills focus as embodied by Professor Catherine Phillips. So take a look at both schools. Visit both, again, on the same day if you can, so that you can really get that gut level feeling and that instinct of just how different they really are. They're truly different. But if anything, I would say Columbia is shifting a little bit towards NYU in its emphasis on soft skills and leadership development and entrepreneurship and all those other things that are sort of buzzwords now in the MBA admissions world and the MBA program world. So that's it for today. As always, subscribe to my YouTube channel if you want to get the latest updates. Thanks again for your time and attention. Best of luck with your applications. Bye for now.